So this is Nike's cheapest running shoe they currently have available in a UK size 13. And this is me, a 6'6" runner who predominantly runs on tarmac and dry compact fire track trails. I'm currently training for a 32-minute 10K and putting some good miles in at the moment, so this should be an interesting test. So having tested a lot of Nike's top of the range premium model shoes, I thought it was about time to test out some of their more budget friendly models to A, see how different they felt compared to more premium range, and B, just for curiosity more than anything. Now the description on the shoe states that they're designed for shorter distance work, so I'm going to assume they aren't built for marathon training, which is a good thing considering I'm currently training for 10K. So hopefully a 15-minute run won't be too much of a stretch. It's time to find out. So I managed to get out there this morning and put in 50 minutes worth of moderate running plus some strides at the end. That's what I had on my training plan today, and I thought it'd be a great time to test out this shoe. It was really interesting, not so much in a good way. I'm excited to dive in and explain a little bit more about what I found with this shoe and how it compares to those more premium models. So if you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. Let's dive in and tell you all about it. So normally what I do with a running shoe review is give you guys a big old technical overview and then tell you how I found it on my first impressions. But today we're switching it up a little bit. I want to give you a very quick and brief technical overview, then tell you how I found it on the run, and then tell you why I can understand this is a budget model compared to some of the premium models. And it really does come down to one thing, and we'll talk about that shortly. So let's whiz through this very quickly and give you guys a technical overview. So I went true to size in this shoe, UK size 13, and it fitted perfectly. In my UK size 13, it came in at quite a hefty 379 grams, or 13.4 ounces, I think the conversion is there. In terms of stack height, I'm not 100% sure, they don't publish it. From measurements outside the shoe, it looks in and around 38 to 28, but of course the rubber on the outside could be blown up a little bit higher. So I would say it's definitely a 10mm drop, but probably more around sort of like 37, 27 or 36, 26, in and around that area. And we'll work our way from the back of the shoe and move our way down to the front, the midsole, and then the outsole. This back section here is full of cushioning, lots of padding, and lots of comfort, especially when you slide your foot in, including on the tongue as well. There is a lack of cushioning in and around the base of here. You see this this overlay here. This is quite a hard plasticky overlay, very structured at the back, no flexibility, and the lack of cushioning down the bottom usually in a lot of shoes isn't there either, but it did cause a little bit of rubbing and discomfort today for some reason. Not 100% sure why, can't pinpoint it, but it did on the left hand foot. But around the top here the cushioning is pretty decent. The tongue is padded, the lacing is a very standard lacing system. You can get a very good lockdown, and it does feel very comfy and a very plush shoe. Very reminiscent of Asics shoes 5 or 6 years ago that I used to run in, just cushioning beyond cushioning in and around the back there. Then we move around to the front. We've got a mesh upper which kind of goes all the way around with some overlays. You can see some laminated overlays if I run the shoe around that way. The description on the Nike website is that it's breathable. I would probably maybe disagree in this weather. Yeah, I'm running in the height of summer, but my feet did get rather hot in this shoe today. But overall, a comfortable upper, nothing going particularly wrong at the top here, and I've run in worse uppers. The midsole is just a block of foam. I don't know what it is. They don't specify what it is. They say it's a foam midsole. It was absolutely horrific. I've never run in anything like it in my life. We'll move on from that very quickly. But it looks to be one piece from start to finish, with a few kind of cut-ins and patterns around the back there. We'll bypass that quickly. And then a very Pegasus outsole style shape, quite a wide base shoe. So very stable with the firm midsole. It was a very stable shoe. But yeah, you can see there, very reminiscent of the Pegasus. And we've got some Pegasus traction on the top here. I call it Pegasus traction because it's exactly what the 37 and 38 that I've run in look like. And these lugs look to be a good 2 or 3 millimeters deep, so could even be used as a good road to trail option. So how did I find this shoe? How did it fit? How did it feel? What was it like before we talk about the premium versus budget? Well, if you have ever run in the Nike Miler shoe, you'll understand when I say that the upper feels very similar to that. So very cushioned, very comfortable, comfortable upper. I was really disappointed with the back here. This section here, a lot of shoes do put these overlays at the back here to make them a bit more rigid and give you a little bit of structure. I get that. I understand that it's necessary to help a lot of runners stop overpronation and stuff. I get it, but this hard plastic or overlay, whatever it is, you can feel it through inside, and this is where it was rubbing on the inside of my heel on my left foot, so you can feel the trace of it up there, and just literally just in there is where it was rubbing. It's quite sore now, but I did put 8 miles in it, and it said it was only for short distance. What short distance means, who knows? Obviously it's not marathon distance, but is 8 miles short? I guess it's all relative, I suppose. But for me, I was a little bit disappointed with that. But other than that, very, very comfortable, standard upper, got a good lockdown, nothing too fancy going on there. It was the midsole that made it feel like a budget shoe. That was the one thing that made it really, really disappointing. It was just like a hard slab of foam. I was thinking to myself when I was running, we used to go into Shoe Zone, a shop in the UK called Shoe Zone, where you can go in and literally get trainers for a tenner or 15 quid. And we used to buy our kids PE shoes from there. And then we realised how much of a rip-off it was, because we were going back in there every 1 or 2 months to get a new pair because they wear out so quickly. And they always used to say, oh, they're so hard, Dad. I can't run in these shoes. I can't do PE in these shoes. They're horrible. And I get it. That's exactly what this feels like. It literally is just a block of foam. Nike don't specify what the foam is. I have no idea what it is, but it literally just feels like a slab of foam. Now, I've read other reviews on this shoe when I was putting this video together, and I was reading a lot of it, and people were saying, oh, it's great, great shoe for budget and comfort and all of that sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it is a great shoe for the budget, but you can't use the word comfort. The upper, yes. The midsole, absolutely not. I've never run anything like it. I'm not a massive fan of React itself, but this is just something else. So we'll bypass that very quickly. And as I was saying in the outro, in the section before, very reminiscent here of the Pegasus outsole, and good traction. So I can imagine that that's going to last a long time. Durability on the outsole is probably going to be pretty decent. On the upper will be pretty decent. I guess it all just comes down to the midsole. We break it down into 3 sections: upper, midsole, outsole. I give the upper a solid sort of 6 out of 10. The outsole a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Nothing spectacular, but still doing a great job. But I'm going to be honest with you, this midsole is absolutely terrible. Definitely a 1 or 2 out of 10. So what sets this apart? Why is this budget? And then what's the difference between premium? What are my thoughts on this? Well, there's a couple of categories, let's say, in terms of recommendations. Who would I recommend it to? Are you on a budget, but you do quite a bit of running, you're quite a serious runner? Or are you on a budget and you might just tinker with a little bit of running, but hey, do you know what? It might use it for a bit of walking and just mix it in. Which one of you two would I recommend it to? The honest answer is neither of you. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, if I'm completely honest with you. At worst, yeah, all right, if you're looking to do a bit of tinkering with running, but mainly walking, try it, but don't judge all of Nike shoes like that. Not that I'm a massive fan of Nike shoes. Their racing shoes are, for me, the best, but most of the other shoes are very much subpar or very mediocre. There are better brands out there that are offering better things, but definitely if you're on a budget but a more serious runner, don't touch this with a barge pole. The midsole gives you absolutely nothing back. Now, in terms of budget and premium, I think we're talking, as I said, midsoles. Well, on the premium side, we've got things like ZoomX, we've got React, and we've got SR02, which is a carrier foam that Nike use. And the way that they're using those foams are the React is going to more of their daily trainers, so it's more durable, a little bit less lively than the ZoomX, but it's a little bit more durable, but still soft and cushioned. Not my favorite midsole, but it does the job. The ZoomX, lovely midsole, soft, bouncy, very responsive, love it. That mixed in with their carbon plates in their racing shoes is, for me, the best. And the SR02 foam is used as a carrier foam, where a lot of the shoes now they're putting out, like the Turbo Next Percent Nature, the Zoomfly 5, and other shoes where they're using scrap ZoomX. ZoomX, they're wrapping it and encasing it in this SR02 foam, and that's decent foam, because I remember the Vomero 15, a model from 2 or 3 years ago, that used SR02, and I loved it. I really enjoyed that shoe. So they've got some really decent foams going on in the premium end, and that really is the difference, because if we look at this as a whole, as I said, it very much feels Miler reminiscent from the upper. The outsole was very much stripped from the Pegasus. So they've just ruined it by putting this midsole in. As I said, I can't remember if I've said this already, but Cushlon, love to see that being used. That would be fantastic. But that really is the difference between the two. We're talking midsoles here. Yep, this is really bugging me at the back here, but I could keep banging on about that and I won't. Other than that, it's a really mediocre shoe at best. So there we go, those are my thoughts on the Nike Run Swift version 2, the cheapest shoe that I could get in my UK size 13 at the moment. I mean, what an experience. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing too much more running in those, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the whole subject of budget shoes versus premium. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you've run in this shoe. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And what would you like to see in budget shoes to make it a little bit more affordable for people to build a running shoe rotation? Because I think there is such a strong cooling for budget shoes, but I think the whole concept of budget shoes in a way can be scrapped, because if you're patient and wait 2 or 3 well, no, not even that, 1 or 2 years, you can get some really solid premium models with some massive discounts which are way better than what you can get here. So in my personal opinion, I probably would just go for a model or 2 older, get some really good discount, pay the same amount of money and use those instead. Just my thoughts, would love to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this video and what you guys think on the topic as well. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you on the next one. Until then.